Okay, we'll move on to Jam.
Um, I have both sides, like the positive side and then my side of like why I joined Stadia in the first place. I don't know if you guys remember from my 1K sub video where I was like thanking you guys, and then I said there was like a part of that video where I said I actually don't care about cloud gaming. And I also said that the reason why I'm so excited for Stadia is purely for the first party titles. I wanted games that I've never played before, and Stadia was the first and only cloud platform, and they were the only ones with the first party platforms to party titles to bring that. But now that is completely gone, and like my hype for Stadia has like dropped a lot. Like that's what got me into Stadia. If Stadia back in what was it, when they first announced it with the Founders Edition stuff before it came out, they were talking about the first party titles. We could do this. You got like the split screen thing where you can have multiple people playing in the same world, and it's not split screen, and everyone has their own instances. Those games are practically gone now. They don't exist, and those are the things that I was excited for. That's why I signed up for Stadia. That was literally the only reason. Everything else was just a bonus, the convenience and stuff. I've mentioned that in that video. I do not care about cloud gaming. I've always just wanted those first party titles just to see what cloud gaming is really about with those never seen before titles. Um, but another side of me is like, what's going to happen to those developers? There's hundreds of developers who I really hope they didn't get the news today, because when this usually happens with other gaming companies, they get the news as well as everyone else gets the news. Like I really hate to imagine some guy was just reading the article and it's like, hey, what's going on? 1 hour ago, I was just having lunch. Where is this coming from? And now they're gonna look for a job. Like hundreds of developers have just lost their jobs. Um, and then you have like I'm gonna paraphrase it. I remember Google saying that we're determined for the next 5 years or something to work on these games. I mean, we're not even in year two. We've just passed year one, and you've already dropped your 5 year commitment. But on the bright side of looking at this, like Raf said, nothing's actually changed. Like if you like Stadia now, you're still gonna like Stadia later, because technically we've never even had a first party title, so nothing's actually changed. The experience is gonna be the same. We're just gonna get more games. And like Adam said, I hope they're going to use portion of that new money or save money to get more third-party titles. Maybe we, just hopefully, maybe we could even get Call of Duty now. People's wish list, maybe that might come true. But yeah, that's pretty much my overall take with this. I feel like we're going a bit like off point on
Yeah.
why we're all here. Like we got 100 people watching. Like it's not really about the first party itself. For me, it is like that's why I joined Stadia, but that's not why we're here. We're here because like we all know how like it costs a lot to make first party titles. We know that, Google knows that, Stadia team knows that, and Stadia team was the one who pitched the idea to Google and they financed it. We all know that it takes a lot of money to make these first party titles, but that was the point. When you do acts of like that and you tell people that, and you're like, hey, we're Stadia and we already have like 5 studios, we're going to be here for
Right.
5 years, you're investing in your platform, and with that investment you're
Yeah.
bringing trust with the consumers. Well, when you say you're going to do it for 5 years and you're already calling out after a year,
Yeah.
now a lot of us might not care about first party games. That's fine, that's not the point. The point is they wanted your trust for 5 years, but they're bailing out after a year. Doesn't matter if it's first party, doesn't matter what the content is, it's about the investment and the trust. That's why we're all here and why we're talking about this.
That is
And
spot on. It's
and I agree. If I was on their side, like if I'm like a business person, yeah, I would have never made even a first party team. Like with the low Stadia player base, I wouldn't even started off with that at all. I would agree that they should be using their money to get more third party titles, like the ones that we all want: Call of Duty, Fortnite, FIFA, whatever. That is
I
a
don't want those
better
games.
that is a better thing. Like that's what people want. Um, who knows? The first party titles might as well have sucked. We don't know. We It's not even about the first part. It's about how invested was Google into this. Now they're pulling out after a 5-year commitment, which has only been 1 year,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't say well. But you know what? At the end of the day, um, I love Stadia, and from the bottom of my heart, it is my most favorite platform of all time. And I grew up with from the PS1 and onwards, and Stadia is by far the best. Like I used to be a hardcore PC gamer, and it even pulled me out of PC Master Race. I used to be one of those people, and it pulled me out of that. And I love Stadia, and I will continue making Stadia content all the way to the end. But this was all about trust. This was all about investment. It was all about commitment. And Stadia showed their colors. I do agree with what their decision was, but this is how it's going to be seen as in the public for all of us, all the Stadia fans. But the most important thing is we are just speculating that's what they're going to do with the money. We're speculating they're obviously going to put it at the third party titles. We don't know that. What Stadia needs to do this week is immediately tell us what your road plan is. It doesn't have to be long term, just short term. What are you working on? What features? What games are coming in February? Release a short connect. I don't care. You need to regain the trust of everyone here. We have sorry, I'm breaking up, I'm tearing up because I love this platform so much. But you need to, like, we've spent so much time and effort into this community. And like it's just this community is so bloody brilliant, and without Stadia we wouldn't even have this. So
Yeah, I think you're absolutely. So you're absolutely
I
right,
agree with that.
Jim.
Yeah.
I agree with
They
that,
need
Jim.
to. Look. It looks terrible. It plays into the narrative that everybody's been telling us. Google kill things. No, they don't. Yes, they do. It plays into all those narratives. The only way to stop that is, as you're right, just to say, no, this is a business strategy decision. We're still 100% behind Stadia. We've just decided that from a business point of view, our focus is better over here than over there to give the consumer what they want. And what they want is games. And on that basis, here is our rollout. And here are the partnerships that we are entering into. And, they need to deal with this quickly, or everything that Jem said, that everybody will just have, that it looks really bad because they said they were in here for the long haul, in terms of developing games and all that kind of stuff. And they haven't. It looks real. I can't put a good spin on that unless Stadia come out and say, look, this is a strategic change for the better, and this is why, and they convince us why. But until that, it's speculation and a vacuum. And as we've said a million times, nature abhors a vacuum, and people will just fill it with crazy speculation, or I told you so, or dreamers, or whatever,